It was the first week of 2017 when I packed my 50-pound bag, said goodbye to my family, and left for Barcelona, Spain for 5 months. Although I'd lived abroad before, I left with zero expectations but so many worries. I had abandoned the total comfort of my home and my beloved campus to explore the world and learn more about myself along the way. As I flew overseas, one thing became clear to me. The days would blend together as memories faded and the semester flew by. So I wanted a way to uniquely document my journey. It was then that the idea of filming 1 second every day of my life was born. I continued on with this idea throughout the semester because I felt as though it captures a unique aspect of travel that many videos don't. The idea that some days are easy, some days are disastrous, some days you're homesick, and some days you never want to stop traveling. But no matter what happened during my semester abroad, I promised myself that I would never stop filming. Along with my bags, I traveled to Spain with my personal learning goal in mind. This was the goal that I became fluent in Spanish and confident enough to hold a conversation with a local. While this seemed simple enough before I left, the goal was important to me as someone who had studied Spanish for 8 years and still didn't have the confidence to hold a conversation with a native speaker. To be perfectly honest, the first few weeks and even 2 months of living in Barcelona proved to be quite difficult with communication. I was quick to feel defeated and embarrassed when I made mistakes. Little by little, however, I felt myself enjoying conversations with locals more, especially when I was with my roommates who were Spanish language learners as well. I started to notice that I was beginning to connect with the locals I saw each day. The metro assistant who helped with our train passes, the supermercat owner who sold us school snacks, and the other residents in the building that I lived in even took interest in getting to know us as well. As I grew to know more locals in the city of Barcelona, I also grew to understand how I represented myself to them. I was told early on in my program that as a student abroad, I was somewhat of an ambassador of the United States and my home. This was special to me because I felt a personal responsibility of being kind and engaged with everyone I met in each country when I traveled. I felt such a need to give back to the community that I took on a role in civic engagement by tutoring local children in English. I even took on an internship at the University of Barcelona as an English teacher for college students who were interested in learning English and American culture. This experience was honestly one of the best and most important experiences while abroad because I was able to connect to the community on a personal level by sharing my knowledge with others. On a more professional level, I truly discovered my ability to use the tools that the College of Education at home had prepared me with to create lesson plans for my classroom in Spain. The city of Barcelona had given me so much, and I felt like this was the first time I could finally give something back to it. The more time I spent with all of my students, the more pride I felt in knowing 2 languages and having an entire new set of friends to communicate with in Spanish. To this day, I still speak with my students over Skype and email, and I consider knowing them one of my favorite parts of the whole experience. Not a day goes by that I don't miss my little life I created for myself in Barcelona half the year. Even though I learned more about myself and my leadership communication abilities than I ever felt possible, I still feel like I was a different person while abroad. I lived in the moment and absorbed as much as I could while documenting my daily life for this project and my own personal memories. Even though it may be difficult to share specific events and trips from abroad to those who weren't there, I always find it easy and express my thankfulness for this experience and encourage others to experience it as well. In fact, I've discovered a sense of academic reintegration through discussing my thoughts about studying abroad and encouraging others to travel. I'm proud to say that 8 of my sorority sisters I lived with want to go abroad now too, thanks to our conversations. After this experience, I even find that I have an easier time relating to global issues and speaking Spanish countries after knowing more about the language and culture. In January, I left for Spain with little in mind other than my learning goal. But in May, I truly left as a changed person. I changed as a student, as a traveler, and even as a woman. I gained a newfound interest in European geography, particularly in Spain, an appreciation for new friendships and relationships I developed with college students from around the world, and a true love for traveling and seeing what I can of this beautiful world. I am so incredibly grateful for this experience and confident that the life-changing lessons I had while abroad are impossible to gain in any other way than completely leaving all comfort zones to travel the world for a whole semester.